All right, so we are live, and today we're talking about equations of circles. Now, equations of circles is one of those things that looks complicated and is actually super simple. You know how we've done some stuff like that where it looks really complicated, but it's actually real easy? Well, that's how equations of circles are. So equations of circles have this little formula, and it looks like this. Which looks complicated, right? But this, and this are numbers. We're going to talk about where those numbers come from in a second. And then x and y are always just the x and the y. It stays the variable. Hey, wait a minute. I need your attention, sir. I don't know what you're focused on, but you can get focused on me. I'm the most important person in this room right now. Now, this R, I bet you could already guess what this R stands for. Radius. So that's your radius, right? This H and this K are actually the center of your circle. And that H is your X value and the K is your Y value. And what Mr. Lester and I were just discussing is this stands for horizontal shift. This stands for vertical shift. The K comes from some Latin word that is no longer used, right? But it's from, this formula was like created in like AD, back when Pythagoras and all them were alive. And so that's why there's an H and K in there. It's just what we use standard, okay? But that H and that K are actually just X and Y of the center of a circle. So basically this is what you've got. If I tell you that the center of my circle is 2, 4, and my radius is, let's say 3, right? So to write the equation of the circle, you just plug this 2 in for H, this 4 in for K, and this 3 in for R. So your equation is x minus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals, and then over here you put 3 to the power of 2, which is what? What is that? 9. So you could just put 9. And that's the equation of your circle. That's it. Like, that's literally it. No. That's writing the equation of the circle. That is how you write the equation of the circle. No, not at all, right? Now, are there a couple of things you got to watch out for? Yes. So, like, let's say you have a point that is -2, 5, and your radius is, pick a number, 8. Okay, there's your radius. So when you write this, so you've got x minus -2, right, squared, plus y minus 5 squared equals, and then what's going to be over here? 64. So right here, we don't do this. We don't write minus negative. What would we put instead of this? We would put plus. So if you see where it says x plus the number, what you know is that value is a negative value. So if you read this and I'm like, hey, what's the center of this circle? Well, the center would be -2, +5. Y'all see what I'm saying? Now, if you have, let's say you have that the center is this, right? And your radius is, I heard somebody say 7 a while ago, so we'll pick 7. So this is your center, this is your radius, right? So if we put x minus 0, and we put y minus 0, and then this would be 49, right? Well, what do you get when you do x minus 0? You just get x. So that's just going to be x squared, and this is just going to be y squared, right? So if you see one that looks like this, what you're going to know is that your x and y for your center are 0 and 0. You'll see what I'm saying? You could have it where, let's say you have x x squared plus y minus 2 squared equals, say, 4, right? Your x value for your center is going to be 0. Your y value for your center is going to be 2. Do y'all see how that works?
Yep.
And then what's your radius? 2. Why is it 2 and not 4? Yeah, so this is r squared, right? So if we're trying to look for r, we have to take the square root of that. Everybody following me? Okay, so that is the gist of it. So now let's put that into practice, okay? So there's going to be some that are, we have to do a little more work on, some that are going to be a little easier. So if we look at number 1, I'm on the wrong thing. Hang on. Hang on. That's from first hour. Okay, so if we look at number 1, it says the center is at the origin, right? And the radius is 6. So if the center is at the origin, what is our center point? Like, what do we say? Like, what's our x and y values? 0, 0, right? So if it's 0, 0, if that's our center, then when we write it, it would be x minus 0 squared. But what is x minus 0 squared? X squared plus y squared equals, what is 6 squared? 36. And that's the equation of our line. That's literally all we have to do for this problem is to write the equation of the circle. I said equation of our line, but I meant circle. So if you look at number 2, our center is 0, 0 again. They gave us a radius of 2. So what's our equation look like on this one? Equals 4. That's it. If you look at number 3, this one here, we have a center of 4 and 3. So when we write this one, we're going to have to use our parentheses. And we're going to do x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 81. And that's our answer. If you look at number 4. So number 4, y'all tell me what we should write. X minus 7. Remember your x values first, right? Why is it not 24 squared? Yeah, so that's the diameter. And what do we need? So we need to divide that by 2, get 12, square 12, right? Because we need the radius, not the diameter. So what is 12 squared? 144. So 144 is what goes over here. Y'all with me? Now, look at number 5. So in number 5, they tell us that we have the circle that's at the center, -4, -1, and it passes through -2, 3. So if I sketch this out, right? So I've got -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1. That's the center of my circle. I know that's crappy, but y'all get where I'm going with this. And then it passes through -2, 2, 3. So it passes through that point right there. So that means that this is roughly what my circle looks like, right? What is this? That's my radius. How could I find my radius based on the information that I have? No. What's that thing that we use to find how far it is between 2 points? Distance formula. What is the distance formula? Does anybody remember? Y'all got to know that thing. You got to know it. All right? That's a distance formula. That's how you find the distance between 2 points, right? So x minus x squared plus y minus y. So you've got a center point of a circle, and you know a point on the edge of the circle, and you find the distance between those. All you're finding is the radius, right? That's what you're finding is the radius. So in this case, we can plug in our values for this. So we've got, what is x here? -4 minus -2, right? Does everybody see where I got those numbers from? And then -1 minus 3, right? So this is going to be -2 squared, and this is going to be -4 squared. Is that right? So that's going to get me 4. Hey, Esteban. Plus 16.
Yeah.
Did you pass? Yeah, you. That's awesome. The written part or the driving part? Written. Okay. So this is what you wind up with right here. Right? And then if you take the square root of 20, you're going to get like 4.5-ish, right? It's going to be 4.5-ish. I need you to, if you got a calculator on your desk, I want you to take the square root of 20 right now.
4.47. Oh my God.
He's already got his answer. Look at him roll. Okay. Now, there's a reason I'm asking you to take the square root of 20. Because remember, when we write the equation of a circle, this is our radius, but what do we do with that? But to write the equation of our circle, what do we have to do with it? Not square root it. What do we have to do for the equation of our circle? We have to square it. So if you take that number that you haven't done anything to, you took square root of 20 and you got that number that's 4.5, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? And you square that number, what do you get? Nope, square the one that's not rounded. Take the square root of 20. It's 20. Let's talk about... Hey, listen. Okay, well, that's awesome, but not what I'm talking. Okay, so why is it 20? Well, because when you take the square root of 20 and you get this number that's not rounded, right? That means that number is being multiplied to get 20. But if you take that number and you square it, then you're getting what you took the square root of. Do y'all see what I'm saying? Let's not use 20. Let's use something different. 16. What's the square root of 16? 4. Why do you know the square root of 16 is 4? 4 times 4 is 16. So if I said to you, hey, that's my radius is 4, but you're going to square it, what are you going to get? 16. Why are you getting 16? Well, that's the number that we took the square root of to get the 4. So when you square it, you're going to get the 16. Do y'all see what I'm saying? The reason I'm showing you this is because I don't want you rounding a rounded number. So if you do the distance formula and you're putting that r squared in there, you can just stop right here and use that. Is what I'm saying. Okay, so back to number 5. So we've got x. It's minus -4, but what do we write? Plus 4 squared plus y minus -1 is plus 1. And then what do we put over here? 20. Because that's our radius squared. Esteban, this is the equation of a circle. Where this is your x value of your center. This is the y value of your center. And then, of course, r means radius. And so all we're doing is like plugging things in to write the equation of the circle. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. You got that down? Okay. Okay, so we look at number 6, right? So we've got to find our radius, so we're going to have to use these 2 points and use the distance formula to find our radius. So I'm going to grab my little piece of paper over here, and I'm going to do the distance equals the square root of 5 minus 4 squared plus negative 2 minus 0 squared. What's 5 minus 4? Negative 2 minus 0. What is 1 squared? What is negative 2 squared? 4. So that's going to give me the square root of 5, right? But then when that's my radius. The square root of 5 is my radius, which is going to be 2.1 something, right? But when I put it in my circle formula, what do I have to do to it? I have to square it. So when I square that number, what am I going to wind up getting? I'm going to wind up getting 5, right? If I square the square root of 5, what do I get? I get 5. Y'all see what I'm saying? So the radius equals the square root of 5, which is approximately 2.1 something. But when I do radius squared, that gets just 5. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. So when we write this equation, it's going to be x minus 5 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 5. Y'all good so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if they gave you a diagram, a graph like this? So how do we find the center of this circle? Find the point, the x and y value. So we go over 1, 2, 3, up 2. So the center is 3, 2. How do we find the radius of this circle? You could, but since it's a graph, it's actually a lot easier than that. What do you do? You just count it. How far is it from the center to the outside edge? Done on a straight line. 2. So when we write our equation, it's going to be x minus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals, what do we get over here? 4. Why 4? 2 squared, right? Okay, if you look at this one, what is our center? So our center is 0, negative 2. What's our radius? 3, right? So when we write our equation, we're going to have, it's x minus 0 squared. But what is x minus 0? X. So we're just going to have x squared, right? Plus y. It's minus negative 2. So what is minus a negative 2? Plus 2. Everybody with me? And that equals, what is 3 squared? 9. There's our equation. Y'all? Okay, so look at number 9. They're giving you the equation. They want you to find the center based on the equation and the radius based on the equation and then graph it. So what's the center of this one? The very middle, 0, 0. So we would graph that point, 0, 0. And what's the radius of this one? It's 4. How do we know it's 4? That's r squared. So to find out what r is, you just take the square root of it, right? See, r squared equals 16. So to find r, you just take the square root of it. So our radius is 4. So we're going to go out 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And then you just rough sketch that circle in. It ain't going to be pretty. Unless you're better than I am. You could always grab a compass if you wanted it to be pretty. Okay? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. So if you look at 10, right? What is our center on 10? Is it negative or is it? Uh-huh. What's our radius? 3. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my center. And then my radius is 3. So from there I'm going to go out 1, 2. I think I miscounted. 1, 2, 3. This is my center here. So my radius, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And so there's my circle. How y'all feel about those? Not bad, right? Okay, we're not going to do 11 and 12. You don't have to worry about 11 and 12. Well, it is, but there's a little more to it, and it's not something you're going to see. So we're not going to worry about it. Okay, that's our whole lesson. Y'all can go ahead and start on the back if you want. Or I do have 10 5s interactive worksheet. You can put your answers in for that if you want to do that. Tomorrow's going to be a work day. So we'll be working. And by work day, I mean work day. What? On 10-8, you're not going to do 9 and 10. You got to do 11. 11's not hard. It has words, but it's not hard.